Oh, Hanaki! Did you know that our souls are connected by fate? What do you know? I'm Yuno Hanaki from Production Kawaii's Hanamizuki. In less than a week, we will be 6 months old. That's half a year. Whoa. So I'm sure you saw, if you were paying attention to Ron and Kaya's schedule uploads, my schedule follows different days because of how my life is do be. But if you saw their schedules, you would know that Sunday is when we are planning our official half anniversary stream. It'll be on Ron's channel, so make sure you are subscribed to Ron Sugiha of Production Kawaii's Hanamizuki. I mean, I'll be sharing the waiting room whenever it goes up and everything too, but just to be aware, it's gonna be on Ron-chan's channel. Because it's easier to host it on just one channel than to have all of us stream our separate perspectives for what we're doing. You'll see on the day. You will see on the day. And it will definitely be interesting, I think. Before a half year and already senpais, don't remind me, it's so crazy. I can't believe we're already senpai. Wow. It's nice though. The Famira are good girls. Well, yeah, so that's just a reminder for the 6-month anniversary. Whew. It's crazy. We have cooked a lot. We were going over all of our plans with management earlier today, and one of our managers spoke up and was just like, whoa, you guys have planned a lot. I'm so excited. And it's true. We cooked a lot. I mean, I think it's mostly thanks to Kaya's hard work. Kaya is quite a workaholic. She likes to do this kind of thing a lot, though. But we do have a lot of things planned. Probably more than you're anticipating, I would say. I do not lie when I say it is going to be a multi-course meal. So get hype! And we do also have a half-anniversary hashtag. I will post that in chat for you guys. Let me pull this up. So if you want to post anything to celebrate the 6 months, the 6-month anniversary, you can use this hashtag on Twitter, or I guess anywhere really, and we'll try and find it. But yeah, I'm excited. It's exciting. It's gonna be a very hectic Sunday. Okay. Well, that little bit of, I guess it's not really housekeeping, but just like a reminder. That little reminder out of the way. Let's get into the OniMon topic for today, huh? So we are going to be talking a little bit, about flower language, otherwise known as Hanakotoba. Hi, welcome in, Hanaki. Also, I don't mind if you just listen to the stream. That is all okay. We are just chilling, you know? Okay, so Hanakotoba. Explaining Hanakotoba in itself is a little bit difficult, but basically the idea is that flowers have their own meanings to them. Like a deeper meaning than just a pretty flower. So, no, it's not a teacher RP. If it was a teacher RP, we would be in the classroom. This is just a general, like, discussion topic. Please. If you start acting like this is a teacher RP, I will time you out. No more of that, please. But yeah, so, Hanakotoba is basically the way Japanese people interpret flowers. Like, they kind of assign their own meanings. There's, like, a different meaning in the West than there is in Japan sometimes. I mean, usually they do kind of, align to some extent. But It's basically this idea that they have, like, specific meanings and that there's, like, if you're going to make a bouquet of flowers for somebody, the idea is that you have a specific, like, set of flowers that you can pick from to, like, represent what you really mean. There's also, like, a little bit of taboo. If you choose a flower that does not actually suit the situation, it's kind of considered, like, bad luck or bad manners. So, following things like Hanakotoba can be really important within Japanese culture as well.
May the Oni lights guide you back to me.
I'm new here, happy anniversary. You know, you are not new here, but thank you. Also, it's not the half anniversary yet. You gotta hold on to that. Hanaki, welcome in. We round up here. That's rounding up a bit too much, don't you think? That's doubling the current amount. Why are we rounding? Why are we rounding? That makes no sense. Okay. But yeah, so, when we as in Hanamizuki were working on our, like our general concept, like our vibe, all of that stuff, we settled on flowers because we realized that all three of us were like, all three of us had a sort of association with flowers, like already there within our characters. I mean, Kaya has the flowers on her outfit, and then, we all know where my flower is. I should say, we all should know where my flower is. We all should know by now. Ron is the only one who didn't have, like, an explicit flower on her outfit. She had more of, like, the butterfly motif. I have both flowers and butterflies. And then Kaya was, like, purely flowers. But since we realized that we were all kind of, like, focusing on having a certain, like, flower to represent us, we were like, oh, we could probably work with that when it comes to choosing, like, a unit name and stuff. So, that was kind of where the Hana in Hanamizuki came from. So, like, a big part of our kind of branding is our flowers. Like, flowers are really important to us. That's why there's, like, flowers in the Hanamizuki logo. We talk about our image flowers a lot. I have our ancient lore document up right now. And the first thing that's listed on all of our documents is our image flowers. So we can talk a little bit about the meaning of said flowers. And then we can kind of talk about, like, other flowers in general if you guys are interested. Beautiful tattoo. Thank you. I do quite like my flower tattoo. Okay, where is the... Yeah, okay, it's this way. So we're looking for... Do we want to just do mine first, or should we do Kaya's or Ron's? I don't know if there should be a particular order. Maybe I'll just do it in debut order. Which means I do go first. Okay. Start with your own. Okay. Well, my flower is known as the balloon flower, or a bellflower. In Japanese, it's referred to as a balloon flower. But the general, like, theme and concept behind the bellflower is endless love, honesty, desiring the return of a friend, and obedience. It means kind of like all of those things mixed together. In Japanese, the name is Kikyo, which you might know if you watch Inuyasha. Inuyasha's ex is named Kikyo. But yeah, that's the bellflower. It is a summer flower. It begins blooming in June, and then it blooms until around September or so. So it's known as a summer flower. That's why the season that is associated with me also is summer. Because we associated seasons for a little bit too. We wanted to have like a seasonal name, but because there's only 3 of us, there'd be one season that was left out. Which ended up being winter because we all chose seasons that were not winter. But yeah, this flower is a summer flower. You'll actually find too that Kaya and Ron's flowers suit their assigned seasons, but we'll get to that in a little bit. She was named after the flower, Kikyo and Inuyasha? I don't think so, but that is like what her name means. So the general Hanakotoba for a bellflower, besides like getting into the more specific meanings, there are things such as eternal love, sincerity, cleanliness, and obedience. So those are all things that were already talked about in like the more flowery language of it. But cleanliness is a new descriptor. If we're talking about bellflowers as a whole, though, that's where we get into the idea of endless love and honesty. And I find it very interesting that there's like a specific meaning of like you want to see a friend return. So I guess this would be a flower that you would give to somebody that's like going away for a while, but you want them to come back safely. I find that part of it really interesting. It's something I keep in mind when it comes to writing my lore and stuff as well. And it's also called a balloon flower because when it's budding, before it fully blooms, it kind of puffs up like a balloon. Which is true. It does kind of have like very big, puffy petals. So that makes sense to me. There's also a myth surrounding bellflowers, where there was a young lady named Kikyo who was in love with somebody who left and then never came back, and she yearned to see him again at some point in time. But even though she was yearning for him, she ended up being punished by the gods, and she was turned into a balloon flower. And she was cursed to still have her memory of that man who never came back to her. So she was like, she's just this sad girl was turned into the flower that was her namesake and just was made to remember that man for the rest of eternity. The more you know. That's really cool. I agree. Pretty much what happened in Inuyasha. That's probably what she's based off of then, to some extent. Bellflowers are also considered a little bit endangered these days. They don't bloom as often. Okay. But that's kind of everything about bellflowers. So generally they mean this idea of like eternal love. There's also a lot of those ideas of obedience too, and sincerity. I think those are the like most key elements to what the bellflower means. And then like when you're giving it to somebody or when you include it in a bouquet, that means that you want to see a dear friend or like somebody close to you come home safely. So that's kind of what the flower language means. So not only is it just a pretty flower, but it can have some pretty deep meaning behind it. That's kind of what Hanakotoba is for. In a lot of like literary pieces or like media or all that kind of stuff, they will take advantage of the meaning of a flower, and they will purposefully like use that flower in certain scenes to like kind of imply what this scene is supposed to represent. It's cool stuff. As someone who likes metaphors for things, I really like when they use flowers to kind of represent the meaning of what's going on within a story. Or if the flower itself ends up being a pivotal part. Okay. So let's move on to Ran-chan's. So Ran Tsukiha. So Ran, her name actually means her flower, which is orchid. From what I know, she chose her name first and then chose her image flower to be an orchid after, but I was just like, it makes sense. You chose the name Ran. Asian families have often a clan or family flower. For Europe, it's mostly just the lily. What is the meaning of it? The meaning of lily? I can check really fast. I have to pull up orchid anyway. Whoops, wrong page. Lily. It's probably going to depend on the lily. Do you know what color of lily usually? Because the Hanakotoba is kind of different depending on the color. Lilies as a whole generally mean things like purity and refined beauty. But then we can get into more specifics if I know the color in question. Gold or yellow, okay. Let's see here. Okay, so if we're talking yellow, then we get, fake or cheerful. There's also this idea of, like... It's interesting. It seems to have the double meaning of either being, like, really cheerful or also, like, fake or lying. There's also the phrase, I'm walking on air, that gets associated with the yellow ones. Which is usually a euphemism for, like, floating or, like, feeling, like, really, really, like, unburdened and, like, just super relaxed, super calm, super happy. Isn't it supposed to be a reunion? At least that's what they say in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Specifically about the Yellow Lily? I don't personally see that on this resource that I'm using. Like, I don't personally see it there. But that's kind of the... that's what this says right now. But, like, generally, a lily will be referred to as, like, purity or some sort of refined beauty. Oh, there's a tidbit here. Hold on. Yeah, so yellow lilies are actually considered quite unlucky. I'm looking on the page and for detail for yellow lily right now, and it says, since ancient times, the flower color does influence meaning of flowers, and many yellow flowers in particular have unlucky meanings. So I guess it's a little bit more unlucky. I will say some like fictional franchises or media will kind of take a flower and come up with their own flower meaning for it. It's not always the truth. Like, sometimes they will just take a flower that they think is pretty and are like, oh, it means this in our world. Especially in, like, a fantasy. They will just kind of come up with their own flower language, which is fine. But in this particular instance, yellow flowers are considered unlucky, usually. Okay. I got distracted. I need to pull up Orchid. Orchid. I mean, this makes sense for Ron, but it's literally... Some of the key words associated with orchids are love, beauty, refinement, and beautiful lady. To the surprise of no one, right? That just makes sense for Ron. Alright, let me get the more specific ones up here. But yeah, orchids are usually associated with elegance and like beautiful ladies. Sasuga. No, exactly. As expected of my wife. She didn't denote a specific type of orchid, she just said orchid. So I'm trying to see if there's... Okay. She does usually use purple orchids. Like the kind of lilac colored ones. Yeah, hyacinth orchids. So if we're going by that, the purple orchid, that one means unchanging love, and I will never forget you. These flowers are native to Japan, Taiwan, and China. They tend to bloom April through June, which makes sense because Ron's associated season is spring. So her orchid tends to bloom during the spring season. There's also a Greek myth about the hyacinth orchid. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one that she associates with the most. Well, yeah, it's usually associated with, like, beauty and elegance. And then I'll never forget you, which is a very interesting phrase. So I guess if you were putting it into a bouquet, it would be for someone that's, like... I guess her flower and mine would actually pair quite well. Not just because they're both purple, but because they both have this idea of wanting someone to come back safely and, like, not wanting to forget about them while they are gone. I guess these are good flowers for parting. Interesting. A fascinating coincidence. Can you look up what dark blue means, especially a dark blue lily? You want me to go back to the lily again? Okay, hold on. I don't know if I'll be able to find anything about a blue lily, because this site doesn't mention it, but I will look. I have to look it up because it's not on this resource. Let's see. Blue lily. I need like a more specific name. I'm finding blue lilies, but they're different depending on the type of lily. Like, are we talking water lilies? Are we talking nodding blues? Are we talking tufted blue? And I still can't really find, like, Hanakotoba for them. I think because blue lilies aren't super common in Japan, so they don't really have an associated meaning there. Let's see. Yeah, I found the section on lilies, but it only mentions, white lilies, Alstroemeria, orange lilies, lily of the valley, tiger lily, and red spider lily. Blue doesn't show up. Dang. Red spider lilies are so pretty and sinister. This is true. Hi, Mamie. Recently in a novel I read, a family had red camellia as their flower. Ooh! Camellias have a really pretty meaning. They're one of my other favorite flowers. Let's see. Red camellia. I really like camellias. Where are you? Yeah, you're a flame in my heart, so it kind of means, like, love and, like, passion, specifically. Usually if a flower is red, it'll be associated with some form of passion. A camellia, in general, is usually associated with, like, modest kindness and a little bit of pride. So it makes sense that it's a family crest. So if we're going with red camellia, we get understated splendor, unpretentious elegance, and humble virtue. So they seem to be very humble and not pretentious, or at least their flower insists that they are not pretentious, but that they are still, like, they have a lot of splendor to them, but it's understated, you know? Like, it's the kind of, like, undercutting their own value, if that makes sense. What's behind a dandelion? Let's see. Dandelion. So the Hanakotoba for a dandelion is Oracle of Love, or like just an oracle in general, true love, and also the idea of separation. If we're going by Western standards, it tends to mean oracle or love's oracle, faithfulness, and happiness. The reason it's associated with being a love oracle is because of that ancient tradition of fortune-telling by using dandelion fluff. And then separation comes from the appearance of the fluff flying away. Like once the wind blows and blows the little seedlings off. In Europe, they would use dandelions for fortune-telling, specifically for romance. Where you would do the whole I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you thing. Kind of like how, when you're a kid, you do that with picking off flower petals. But it's with, like, blowing off a certain amount of the seeds. If you can blow away all the fluff in one breath, it means that you are passionately loved. If a little bit remains, it means you are falling apart. And if a lot remains, it means the other person does not care about you. So that's why it's associated with being an oracle of sorts. Yeah. Sunflower means strong? Well, let's check. Sunflower is definitely one that's on here. So in Hanakotoba, a sunflower means I look only at you, adoration, and worship. Which makes sense, because there's like a big thing in Japan, or well, I guess not just in Japan, but with sunflowers in general. Because sunflowers will always point towards where the sun is. So, if you give someone a sunflower and the sunflower is like pointing at them, that means you kind of see them as your sun, which is something that's like, you know, a big sign of like adoration and worship. Worship. I don't know how to say that word. I mean, I do, but I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Worship. Worshipping. Land of the Rising Sun. Indeed. That's why Kenki girls are always sunflower associated. That's true. They are a representation of the sun. It's easy to adore them because they are so sweet and happy. But yeah, that's what it tends to mean. It's less about the strength of the flower to be able to grow through cement, but it's more just focused on a sunflower's ability to always follow the sun. Yeah. Is there one for Castus flower? Castus? I don't know what a Castus is, but we will see. Oh, cactus? Okay, let me see it. Saboten. Burning heart, greatness, warm heart, and never withering love. That's the Hanakotoba. The English version is endurance, ardent love, grandeur, and warmth. So it generally has a lot of associations of like warmth and burning passion. A love that endures. Yeah, burning heart, warm heart, love that never dies. That's your super strong flower. Yeah, fiery heart and greatness in the language of flowers comes from the fact that cacti grow in hot climates, and many species produce fiery colored flowers. The chrysanthemum? Okay, let's see. Chrysanthemum. This is another one that's slightly dependent on color, but I will at least read the general descriptors. Noble, noble, and noble, so true. Okay, so apparently in Hanakotoba it is just associated with noble. The three words that show up are noble, noble, and noble, which is very funny. Red usually? Okay, so a red chrysanthemum will mean I love you, both in Hanakotoba and in the Western meaning. What is Kaya's? Right. So Kaya has a very unique flower. I can't find a specific description for her specific type of flower, but she has a water lily. hers is the red flare water lily. So I will have to discuss a water lily. Just kind of in general, and then talk a little bit about the color red. Dude. Hi, Kaya. Yeah, we're talking about flowers. We got a bit sidetracked after talking about Ron's, but now we're getting back to yours. So, let's get over here. So talking about water lilies in general, they usually, in Hanakotoba, they mean like pure heart, trust, and faith. Generally, if we're talking about a water lily, it means like purity of heart. Yeah, so it talks about how a lot of water lilies are usually like white in color, so it's a very pure associated. It's associated with a lot of purity. Sure, our souls are connected by. No, it's fate, not faith. Please. There's a difference. You do have the faith, though. Shut up. I hate you. Yozaki Lilia. They don't mention the red flare. That's the only thing about this that's kind of frustrating, is that I can't find a definition for the red flare specifically. I tried to, like, search it separately, and I still couldn't really find anything. It does mostly bloom at night, though. That's something to point out, which makes sense because Kaya is probably the one most associated with night and the moon. It tends to bloom during, like, the fall season, which makes sense because fall. She is the autumn girly. I can't find anything about the specific meaning. Oh, okay, she just DM'd me on Slack because she looked up the meaning of red water lilies, which is not the same as the red flare, but fair enough, I suppose. But apparently, just a red water lily will symbolize pure love and romance. She's a shoujo protagonist. I specifically wanted to find the red flare, though, because I feel like that's different from the normal red water lily, but fair enough. Turns out she is a shoujo protagonist. Who would have guessed? Let's see. Waku waku. Morning Glory, I think, also symbolizes love. I mean, a lot of flowers can symbolize love, just different kinds of love. What about potato flowers? You really think I'm gonna find information about potato flowers on this? You have quite a bit of faith. I can find pomegranate, but there's no potato flower. Pomegranate flowers mean foolishness. Pomegranates mean foolishness, by the way. Would you like a pomegranate? What's the language for broccoli? Does broccoli even have flowers? I don't know. I can find broom. Did you know brooms are a type of flower? Potato flowers are referred to as nightshades and are thus poisonous. Oh! The part of the broccoli we eat is the buds. Naruhodo. Interesting. Once again, Kaya just DM'd me. Broccoli flower language. I feel like this is a not real article. This doesn't feel like a real answer. There are 5 common flower languages of broccoli. The first one is simple and ordinary love. The second one is to hope that you will always be happy. The third one is beautiful expectation. The fourth one is that I only care about your feelings. The fifth one is to love you all my life. Why are they all different? That's the thing. That's gotta be fake. That is not real. That cannot be a real answer. I refuse. Foolishness is tasty, so true. I do quite like pomegranates, all things considered. The flower language of cauliflower. The flower language of cauliflower is the hidden love, the solution to worry and forget worry. What do you mean? These are so fake. In China, the meaning of broccoli is the same as that of carnation, its mother's flower. A broccoli is a mother's flower, you heard it here first. For Mother's Day, you should be getting your mother's bouquets of broccoli, apparently. Also, why is it talking about broccoli within the context of talking about cauliflower? What the hell? I'm gonna go insane, I think. My mom might like broccoli, but I would not. Take that right back. I like broccoli. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. That's why you were looking up cauliflower, right? Man. I don't think I would want a bouquet of broccoli either. I like broccoli, but I don't think I could take a whole bouquet of it. I would just be like, why? You didn't need to do all that. I think potato flowers contain high amounts of solanine that can make someone very sick. Oh, that's fair. Oh, right, someone said they were called nightshades, right? Maybe nightshade is on here. It is not. I lied. But I guess I could look it up. Nightshade. Meaning. So apparently a nightshade, or like the blossom of it, represents danger and betrayal when used within art and poetry. So your potatoes will betray you. They are dangerous. The more you know. That's not the meaning in Hanakotoba, though. That's just kind of the meaning in general. I love nightshades. So useful. Smile. Maybe? What do you mean useful? What did she mean by this? This is why I can't eat raw potato. I mean, yeah, that is true. Probably should not eat it raw. You shouldn't eat most things. Well, that's not true. Some vegetables you can still eat raw, but generally it's probably better to cook them just to be on the safe side. Potatoes harvest you. Wow, scary! I will never look at my french fries the same again. I wanted to crunch a potato like an apple before. Okay, but that's normal. I have also always wanted that. Flower or broccoli fun. Thanks for covering the flower I mentioned. Of course! Thank you for the super chat. What about tulips? I always wonder why they are so expensive. Let's see. Tulips. This is another one that's dependent on colors. Generally, I'm seeing a lot of romance, though.
It's a super chat, so that means it deserves a super jingle.
Interrupting myself, as per usual. Hanakotoba Compassion is what it says. And then again, it kind of is, like, dependent on colors. In Western terms, the flower language for a tulip is perfect lover and also fame. So if we're talking about red tulips, in Hanakotoba, it's a confession of love. Same thing in Western definitions. It's like declaration of love, true love, eternal love, romantic love, but also the idea of believe me. So like really wanting someone to believe what you say, I guess within the context of a love confession. A white tulip, in Hanakotoba, that is lost love. In Western cultures, it's ask for forgiveness and also purity. Makes sense. Pink tulips, Hanakotoba is the budding of love or a sincere love. And then in Western languages, it's caring, kindness or consideration. Attachment, which is attachment, love, and then happiness. Yellow tulip is hopeless love or fame. That's the Hanakotoba definition. And then it's also hopeless love, unrequited love, brightness and sunshine. Purple is an immortal love. And then it also represents royalty, which, you know, if you're familiar at all with, like, color meaning and, like, color metaphors, purple is often associated with, like, royalty and, like, royal families and stuff. There you go. So I guess tulips are another flower that's commonly used for like love confessions, which is probably why they end up so expensive. They're also just like really cute and simple flowers. There's also a whole game in Japan called Tulip because it sounds like tulip when you say it. So it's like choo-choo, like kissing. So it's like a little kissing flower. So it is usually associated with romance, I would say. Romance and love and affection and all of that mushy stuff. Mushy. Thanks for the info, of course. Glad to assist. Okay. Do we have any other questions about other flowers? We got the idea for Kaya's down, to an extent anyway. Kaya's is not a spider lily, it is a water lily. I think we had discussed the idea of maybe using a spider lily, but we went with water lily in the end. Which I think fits. Purity of heart. Shoujo protagonist vibes. What about a blue morning glory? Let's see. Morning glory. Man, morning glories are such pretty flowers. Anyway. I was distracted by how pretty they are. The picture that they used on this site was really nice. So in Hanakotoba, it means transient love, a solid bond, and affection. The word transient, for those of you who might not know what it means, transient means, always in motion, like always moving. It's the idea that it's not permanent, like you're eventually always going to, like, keep moving forward and, like, away from things. So it's kind of like a negative idea that, like, love always moves. Do different dyed roses mean different things? The color of a flower will usually change the interpretation of the Hanakotoba. So if a flower comes in multiple colors, it will kind of influence its meaning. Yeah, so ephemeral love, strong bond, love in general. All morning glories tend to mean love in vain, as well as affection. So, like, loving even though it's, like, kind of pointless. Loving even though it's not eternal. That kind of thing. As for roses, or bara... Transient love, so if you give the flower, does it mean you only want short term? Depends on the context, I suppose. It could be interpreted that way. But I didn't see anything specific about what it would mean if put in a bouquet. Because it is still kind of associated with, like, love and affection in more positive terms. It's just that, like, it can also mean, like, a love that's not lasting. It's the same general message, but different takes to said message. It depends. Okay, so looking at roses. A red rose means I love you. It also represents, like, love, beauty, passion, romance. I'm pretty sure everybody knew that. A red bud for roses means pure and lovely, innocent love, young and beautiful. So that probably means, like, a rose before it blooms. So it's still, like, it's the pure side of love, like a early love, a first love of sorts. Versus the bloomed red rose, meaning, like, a more passionate, like, intense love. Blue roses, mystery, attaining the impossible, love at first sight. So that usually, you know, it's another version of love, but there's also, like, mystery, which is, like, probably because of the love at first sight thing. Like, you're in love with them even though you only just saw them, and there's still, like, a mystery surrounding them. And then attaining the impossible kind of fits that same vibe as well. White rose. Innocence and purity, I am worthy of you, and reverence. Which makes sense. White is usually a very, like, pure, kind of, almost like a holy color. So the reverence kind of makes sense there, and that idea of innocence and purity, like, wanting to kind of, like, cherish that innocence of the person. And then a white bud, which means a white rose that hasn't bloomed yet. Too young for love and girlhood. So it's definitely associated with, like, being too young. Something that you would give to, like, a younger girl, probably. Yellow roses. They represent a decrease of love. They are also a sign of jealousy, and they can also be, like, a friendship rose. Most yellow flowers are going to have negative meanings like this. I'm not entirely sure why it's yellow specifically, but yellow flowers are usually pretty negative, which, you know, in this case, if you give someone a yellow rose, that means you don't really love them. Could either be because of jealousy or because you just see them as a friend. And then pink roses represent grace, gratitude, and happiness. There's gotta be so many flowers that have love in the message and symbolism. Not too many, actually. There are also a lot that have, like, more generic feelings behind them. It's because bees can hide easier. Yeah. That's true, and bees do sting. They are evil. That is not true. I do not actually think bees are evil. They are just little guys. Are there green flowers? Kind of? Not in the sense of, like, green roses, if that's what you're thinking. But there are some flowers that do bloom and have, like, a greenish tint to them. Have you talked about hydrangeas yet? No, I haven't. I am talking about roses right now. But no, some flowers do bloom green. It's just like a really pale green. And it's definitely not common. Let's see. Hydrangeas. Also a very pretty flower. Achi-san, my beloved. Ancient cultures didn't like yellow because of jaundice? Oh, that could be true. Little guys on a big mission, that's true. Okay. So generally, hydrangea of any color will mean things like fickleness, callousness, patience, ruthlessness, heartlessness, and pride in Hanakotoba. In Western cultures, it usually means heartlessness, boastfulness, or you are cold. So giving a hydrangea to somebody can actually be seen as kind of negative. It has a lot of negative meanings to it. The only difference is, with a white hydrangea are seen as tolerance. So, it's like a kind of patient flower. Kaya just DM'd me to say that she wants a cabbage in her bouquet. That's a bit disappointing. I really like hydrangeas. I like them too. They're really pretty. I'm kind of surprised that it's so negative. The word fickle in the flower language of hydrangeas is said to come from the fact that the color of hydrangea flowers changes little by little after they begin to bloom. The language of cold comes from the impression of a blue flower color, and patience comes from the relatively long flowering period of hydrangeas. So I think, like, generally they still kind of mean patience, which is... I think that's good. Crocus flower. Crocus. Also Suncaria? You guys know some fun flower names. Are they not poisonous? Hydrangeas? Let me double check. Whoops, wrong page. I didn't see anything about them being poisonous. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not getting anything about whether or not they're poisonous on this page. I could probably just look it up, though. Are hydrangeas poisonous? Yeah, all parts of the plant are poisonous. If eaten, symptoms can include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Ew. Skin contact can cause dermatitis, rash, or irritation. Okay, so you do not want to touch a hydrangea. You do not want to be near those, generally. Okay, back to looking for... I didn't see crocus. Is the... Oh, it's purple. Pretty. And then meaning. Thank you for all the flowers. So a crocus represents awakening of nature and the start of a new cycle. They also tend to represent things like hope and optimism. That's not in Hanakotoba though. That's just like a general, descriptor. It can also mean things like cheerfulness, gladness, mirthfulness, glee, and youthfulness. So it's a very, like, happy associated flower. Especially, like, the happiness associated with, like, youth. Like a childhood innocent sort of happiness. I thought the general rule was that you didn't want to touch flowers without protection, like gloves. I mean, that's also true. You really don't. It's better to not touch them with your bare hands. Every time you say crocus, I think you're saying a mucus. No! They don't even sound remotely similar. Please fix your brain rot. Fix your brain, friend. I believe in you. You can do it. Mm-mm. Okay. But yeah, isn't Hanakotoba and stuff interesting? It really helps you kind of get an idea of what kind of flowers to put in a bouquet to like really convey your meaning. Granted, you have to assume that the person receiving the flowers either knows the meaning of flowers already or is going to be the type of person to look them up. Otherwise, they're just going to be like, ooh, pretty flowers, and then they'll never catch on to what you're saying. But being able to tell these like secret messages and like convey your feelings using the flowers, I think it's really, really cool. It's also very romantic. As someone who has never received flowers, I'm just like, man, I think I would be in both camps. At first I'd be like, wow, flowers, whoa, awesome. And then it would only be like a few days later that I would think to look up the meaning of all the flowers in the bouquet, and then I'd be like, wait a second. Wait a gosh darn minute. They were trying to tell me something. Takes like 4 to 5 business days. I'm in the Pretty Flowers gang. I mean, that's valid. It's okay. Because they are pretty. I get it. Can an arrangement of flowers mean something different from the individual flowers themselves? That's probably where Ikebana comes in, which is the art of floral arrangement. don't know if there's like a specific, like definitive yes or no answer to that. I do think that you could probably take all of the flowers that mean particular things and then kind of put them together to mean one unified thing. But I think that that would kind of be based on your own interpretation and your own ability to organize the bouquet. That's my thought anyway. What flowers on Yuno's head do you mean on in my hairpiece? I'm pretty sure that they're just like roses. I haven't really tried to analyze them too deeply. I don't have the information myself. Because the layers on my model, they're all in Korean because my art mama, Prey is Korean, speaks primarily Korean, so all the layers are in Korean, and I don't know what they mean. I don't know what they mean. So, I don't have like a solid answer. I don't know if it's called anything other than like hair ornament also, because there's a chance that I could try to look up the Korean and then it just says hairpiece. And then at that point I'm just like, oh dang, I still don't know what it means. In my mind, they look kind of like roses, but I don't know for sure. Google Translate. I would have to find the layer first. The layers are very well split on my model, all things considered. If I could give Yuno a flower, most likely would be a camellia. Aw, that's really sweet! Yellow roses, friendship. I also thought roses, but I don't think roses have leaves that big. They're not supposed to be leaves. They're supposed to be, like butterfly wings. This is supposed to be a mix of like flower and butterfly motif on the hairpiece. I don't know what else it would be though. Looking at it. But yeah, I think the parts in the back are just supposed to be butterfly wings. I don't know what the flowers are supposed to be. My brain says roses, but that's just because it's an easy answer. I don't know. If only I knew Korean, then I could ask my mama. But I don't know Korean. Yellow roses and butterfly means positive friendship. This is true, but I wonder if gold means something different. Because it's technically gold, not yellow. I will have to think about it. I'll have to see if there's a way that I can find the information. Oh, Hanaki, welcome in. Gold is eternal, so it's eternal positive friendship. That's a very cute meaning, if we assume that that's true. That's really cute. I like it. I tried to look up flowers that IRL butterflies like and couldn't find a match. Yeah, I think eventually I'm just going to see if I can dig into information from my mama. Maybe I will get answers. But as I said earlier, the one on my thigh at least, my tattoo, is a bellflower, or a balloon flower in Japanese. And as a quick refresher on what that means... endless love, honesty, desiring the return of a friend, and obedience. What does that have to do with my story? Wouldn't you like to know? Give me a month to finish Blade, I'll pick a Korean. Good luck, soldier. I mean, I have heard that Korean is fairly easy to read. It's probably just like learning how to pronounce it that's difficult. What about orchids? Of course. Orchids. Orchids. Love, beauty, refinement, beautiful lady. As expected of my wife, Ran Tsukiha. Ran's name literally just means orchid, so... The voice pack was really sweet, by the way. Thank you! As a reminder, my 10k voice pack is available. It has a cute scenario in it you should definitely listen to. Teehee! I want to hear about Deadly Nightshade. Not again. The only thing I found about Nightshade when I looked it up was that it meant, like, betrayal. It doesn't have a meaning in Hanakotoba, but that's what the generally associated meaning is if you use it in, like, art or poetry. It's also kind of associated with, like, silence and falsehood. Betrayal, beloved by witches. That's true. If you're giving someone Nightshade, I don't think they need to think any deeper than that attempt. They will realize very quickly. They'll just be like, huh, okay, you know what? Fair enough. Understandable. And yeah, the Nightshade is pretty. It's just, you know, because it is dangerous, it doesn't really have a meaning associated with it. Maybe it's associated with betrayal because it's one of the oldest poisons. That could be true. You never know. But yeah, one of the other things that I see in terms of symbolism for a Nightshade is silence and falsehood. But also truth. So I guess the difference between falsehood and truths, which perhaps lays within silence? It's pretty deadly. So true. I do not wish to be presented with a Nightshade. Makes me think of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh! What about Poppy? Generally, again, this one's kind of based on colors. Generally it means oblivion, sleep, or imagination. It's a very dreamlike flower because poppies were known for, like, sleeping and, like, drugging. Red poppies, consolation and pleasure. White poppies, they just tend to mean sleep, additionally. And then yellow poppies mean wealth and success. I missed the start of the stream. Did you talk about lavender? I did not talk about lavender specifically, no. Let me pull it up. Lavender? So lavender in Hanakotoba means devotion, silence, and distrust. I love when they have conflicting meanings. I'm just like, why do you like this? Silence, please answer me, expectation, distrust, and doubt. And then in the English language, it's devotion, silence, and distrust. Talk about the myths of Lavender Town. Devotion and mistrust is a spicy combo. That's true. I'm not getting anything about why that is included within it, but I am getting, the word silence in the language of flowers comes from a lavender's calming effect. The flower language of doubt is said to be related to the mysteriously strong scent of lavender. Why is it related to the scent? That's so fascinating. But yeah, the message "please answer me" is like a very strong one. I guess because lavender has such like a strong presence, both in terms of like the way it looks and in scent. Fascinating. Have you talked about chamomile? No, not yet. Chamomile. Chamomile. Have you done cherry blossoms? No, we'll do that after chamomile. Assuming chamomile is listed on here. It is, okay. Chamomile. To withstand adversity and strength born from adversity. So, chamomile is a flower that you usually give after somebody has experienced some sort of adversity. Because even in English, the meanings are like patience in adversity and energy in adversity. So it's the idea of like facing something, facing an adversity and being able to pursue through it. It blooms from April to July, so it's like a spring-summer flower. The flower language of withstanding adversity and strength born from adversity comes from the fact that chamomile grows as if it were crawling on the ground, and the more it is stepped on, the stronger it grows. So that's why. So even if you, like, step on it, it'll still grow back stronger. Which makes sense. It's dealing with adversity, and it becomes stronger through facing adversity. In terms of the growth cycle. I see. Okay. Cherry blossoms. It'll depend on the type of cherry blossom. There's different meanings for different ones. But cherry blossoms in general tend to mean spiritual beauty and graceful woman. Then there's different Hanakotoba for every, or not every, I guess, but like most of the different types. So like a Soumei Yoshino means purity and excellent beauty. Weeping cherry, grace and deception. Sato Zakura or Yae Zakura, rich education, good education and graceful. Yama Zakura, smiles at you, pure, noble, pale and beautiful. Fuyu Zakura, which is calm, and Kan Zakura, which is whimsical. You also talk about lilies of the valley. Okay. Let's see. Lilies of the valley. Beautiful traits. I agree. Okay. So Lily of the Valley, Hanakotoba is happiness comes again, purity, chastity, and humility. In the Western world, it means the return of happiness, sweetness, humility, and purity. So it does mean purity in both places. Also humility. But the difference is that, like, in Hanakotoba, it means that happiness will come back. It means that in the West too, but there's like a different meaning here where it says sweetness. So it's a flower that you would gift someone if they're like going through something sad, and you want to remind them that happiness will come back again. It's a pretty flower too. I love the little white buds. They're super cute. Flowers are so pretty. I talked about violets, which are blue. I don't recall if I have. I will check. There are purple violets, though. There's both purple and blue ones. Okay. So in general, they mean humility, honesty, and small happiness. If we're talking about purple violets, they mean, chaste love. A white violet is innocent love and purity. Yellow violets are, happiness and humble joy. And then the English language for violets in general is modesty and faithfulness. In the language of flowers, humble and honest comes from the modest and dignified appearance of flowers that bloom quietly on roadsides or in the shadows of grass. What about the lotus? Why do you look so smug when you ask me this question? Let's see. Hanakotoba is pure heart, sacred, separate love, and eloquence. English language, estranged love, and eloquence. So generally very eloquent flower. The meaning of pure heart in the language of flowers is said to come from the fact that the lotus grows out of muddy water and blooms into a noble and pure flower. The language of eloquence comes from the fact that in Egypt, the lotus was dedicated to the god Osiris, who was the king and judge of the dead. And Osiris was known for eloquence. That makes sense. That's also cool. I love mythology. Mythology is kind of sick. So that's where the eloquence came from. There's a section called Lotus and Ramen, and I was like, what? But apparently the chiri renge, or just the renge, which is a ceramic spoon used in Chinese cuisine and ramen restaurants, resembles a single petal that has fallen from a lotus flower. Fascinating. So that's why it has that shape. I assume that's the spoon that you use when you're sipping the soup. That's crazy. I never thought that it looked like a lotus flower. Cool how stuff like that can remain in culture for thousands of years. I know! This stuff is so fascinating to me. I love it. Not to sound like a nerd, but I love it. That's a good idea for OniMon, talking about mythology of different cultures. I'd have to be careful with that, because mythology kind of dips its toes into religion a little. I'll consider it, though. I'll probably talk about it a little bit with, management first. That was an issue that I ran into when we were talking about, detention, because I had to talk a bit about, like, the mythology and kind of, like, the belief system of people in that country. It was a little bit of a gray area, because, talking about religion too much and, like, the history too much could get a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but it was a recommendation to try and, like, avoid talking about it too much, even though it was, like, a core part of what I needed to discuss for detention, so I might have to talk about this with management again. But we'll see. I might be able to find a way around it. We did for detention, so... The topic might be sensitive for some people. Yeah, basically. It makes talking about some aspects of things a little bit difficult, because I feel like I have to tiptoe, but it's okay. I do understand why it's in place. And, you know, that's why management's there. I can talk to them about, how I can navigate it if I do want to go forward with the idea. They are here to help us, like, work ideas out, you know? Rather than me just rushing into it and then risking doing something wrong. I want to make sure that I, address it in the way that it needs to be addressed and all of that stuff. I would be glad to hear about the ancient gods of Greece, for example. Greek myth, huh? That's fair. Understandable. But yeah, I'll think about it. I'll try to bring the idea up with management if I can think of a way to navigate it properly. Because I'd like to be able to talk about that kind of stuff too. I do really like it. I find it fascinating. Just gotta be careful what I discuss is all. And they are there to help, so we will hopefully be able to navigate it the way that is needed. You could talk about it from the perspective of how are ancient mythologies used in stories today, since a lot of novels and games draw from Greek, Norse, Egyptian myth. That's true. I'd probably have to play more games that draw from that side of mythology, though. Only if you're comfortable? Well, I would be. It's just a matter of, figuring out what I can and can't talk about. The meaning of Nerium. Let me see. Well, it doesn't show up in the Hanakotoba list, so let me see. Oh, Oleander. Well, I know there's a listing for Oleander. So in Hanakotoba, Oleander is caution, danger, and then in English, it's caution and beware. So it is a warning flower. A flower that is like, hello, red flag, Hello. Yeah, so the main reason that those words are associated with it is because oleander is highly toxic. It does sound like it have that type of vibe. All parts of the oleander, including flowers, leaves, branches, roots, and fruit, as well as the surrounding soil, are toxic and must be treated with caution. Oleander is a plant that is resistant to drought and air pollution and is also used as a street tree. Even in Kawasaki City, Kanagawa Prefecture, where many trees have weakened or died due to years of pollution, oleander is said to have survived well and thrived. Dang. Nothing can take this tree down, however it is full of poison. It is extremely toxic, do not go near it. But yeah, it just means danger. The thing just goes SOS, don't touch me. I will poison you. This has been nice. It's just been an excuse to look at flowers. Dang, I love flowers. They are so pretty. So apparently if you gift someone a pineapple, it means you are perfect. I know that seems random, but I was scrolling down the list of plants and I saw pineapple and it just said you are perfect. And apparently in English it means both you are perfect and also welcome. Planting my bouquets as we speak. We have to put a pineapple in the center now. You are perfect. So apparently the reason you are perfect is associated with it is because it's said to come from the way many fruits combine into one. Hi, Yuno Hanaki, welcome in. Yeah, pineapple was a sign of luxury for a while, so that could be part of it. Red amaranth. I can look for amaranth and see what it says about red, if it has color differences. Amaranth. That'll be up in the A. Really, amaranth doesn't have a listing here? Fascinating. The unfading flower is one of the first things I get based on the Greek etymology. Amaranth is associated with longevity, death, and immortality due to their flowers being slow to wilt. Because of this, it has become a representation of unfading affection and everlasting love. So it is definitely different from the definition in Vampire the Masquerade. At least from this particular source. But yeah, it usually symbols immortality, specifically. What does a bluebonnet mean? Let me see. Bluebonnet. Ba, 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 ba. Bravery, sacrifice, and admiration. Many fruits combined into one that has more questions than it answers. Well, like a pineapple is made out of a bunch of pieces, right? Like individual pieces or like chunks. So it's trying to say that because a pineapple is just like a collection of all of those like individual chunks in like one bloom, I guess the best way to put it. It's like a perfect shape because it can house all of the like pineapple slices or whatever. Isn't pineapple just made of one pineapple? Well, no, like, when you take apart a pineapple, you take it apart by the spikes, right? Like, where each little spike is, there's like a perfect little, not like a cylinder, I guess, but like a little, like, tube of pineapple. You just, like, pluck it out. Pluck, pluck. So there's, like, multiple little pineapple pieces in it. Right? I think that's what it's trying to say. The person was trying to say it was literally a combination of pine and apples. No, 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 no. It's because it has like a bunch of like little pineapple inside of it. I guess. I don't know. I don't eat a lot of pineapple. How about lilies? I already went over lilies a little bit. But I will kind of like rush through them again. I'm mostly focused on yellow lilies, but I will go through all of them again. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. So in general, Hanakotoba, a lily means purity, innocence, and dignity. White lilies will specifically represent purity and dignity. Red lilies are vanity. Pink lilies are also vanity. Yellow lilies, those are the ones we discussed already, are known for like representing things that are fake, but still having like a cheerful attribute to them. So I guess like fake cheerfulness. Orange lilies, brilliant or pleasant, but also thoughtless. Dang, they really said that orange lilies just represent you stupid. And then Casablanca, so dignity, purity, and nobility. They have, like, way more different meanings in, like, the Western definitions. We talked about sunflowers. Yes, I have. The main thing about them is, like, devotion and worship, because with a sunflower, one of the main things that you pay attention to is the fact that it will always turn to face the sun. So if you gift somebody a sunflower, it means you're basically saying that you see them as your son, which is, like, very, It's very much a sign of, like, devotion and, like, borderline, worship of the individual. Because you just, like, love them so much. You see them as your son. Your ray of light. Okay. What about onions? They don't show up here. Sunflower to me also means VTuber retirement art. Really? You mostly see them holding sunflowers? Huh. cacti count as flowers? Yes, they do. I already went over those. Basically, all of their meaning is about being able to grow within, like, really intense conditions. It represents, like, heated passion and, like, that sort of thing, too, because they grow in deserts and also because, they bloom into, like, bold colors. If not onions, then tulips. They're in the same family. What do you mean? We already did go over tulips, though. Yeah, of course. Trying to think of weird specific flowers. Well, those might be hard to find, because you have to remember that Hanakotoba is, like, the Japanese interpretation of flowers. So you're probably better off picking flowers that have either been imported to Japan or can grow in Japan. I missed the beginning of the stream. No, it's fine. I'm just saying. This is a reminder that I did go over it already, so it's a little bit more abridged this time. But once the stream is over and you can recheck the VOD, you can get the more detailed description. Rafflesia. Rafflesia? I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's see. Yeah, of course it's not on here. Rafflesia. Are fruits included in flower language? Some. There are a few. Stinking corpse lily. Oh, it's a stinky flower? Is it stimpky? It smells like dead flesh. Ugh. Ew. Well, it stinks to attract flies to eat. No, it stinks because it feeds off of, vines. At least from what I'm reading. Also, is that not literally just a Vileplume? That's a Vileplume, isn't it? That has to be what Vileplume is based off of. I'm looking at the pictures of it, and the way the petals are spread out, and like the spots, and the thing in the center, that's gotta be just a Vileplume. That's what Vileplume is based on. Whoa! Naruhodo. I'm learning. I am smart. My brain expanded. Bradford pear, Rafflesia, Titan arum, starfish mushrooms, if we include fungi. World's smelliest bouquet. Stinky smelly. What are you trying to convey by giving somebody that bouquet? The answer is, you smell. Is there any info about carnivorous flowers like Venus flytraps? Let's see. Not on the Hanakotoba page. Let's see. Venus flytrap represents persistence. It's one of the first things that shows up anyway. I'm just getting like definitions. I want like metaphorical meanings, but I'll take persistence. Persistence makes the most sense. Vileplume is a mix of Rafflesia and Mandrake. Oh, and that makes sense too. Durians also stink. Do they have a meaning in flower language? I will check. Not directly, but I'll see if they have one elsewhere. In some cultures, durian is considered a symbol of good luck and prosperity, while in others it is considered a taboo food due to its strong smell and taste. So I guess it depends. Sorry, I think I gotta go. I just had a really, really bad cough. And I think I'm gonna be sick. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna dip. Don't worry, I'm okay. But I do think I gotta go get this checked out or something. Ugh, I don't know what happened. I was just minding my business, but that cough was terrible. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Princess Peach, unless this ends up being like really bad, but I don't think it will be. Thank you for listening to my rambling at least. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow probably. I hope you have a good rest of your time zone, and until I see you again, Yunotsu!